Superman's debut introduced readers to a new type of hero, one different from the vigilantes and detectives of the comics that came after him. Along with Superman, DC brought us the Kryptonians, an alien race from the extinct planet Krypton. Under Earth's yellow sun, Kryptonians gain amazing powers, easily surpassing other heroes and villains from across the galaxy. For over 80 years, DC fans have known many Kryptonians. The power levels of these beings have made them extremely formidable, and they have all had an impact on the DC multiverse. Of course, not all Kryptonians are of equal strength, and some have proven to be significantly more powerful than others. In this video we will mention who are, for us, the 10 most powerful Kryptonians in the DC universe. As we usually say in each of these videos, this top is purely personal, and if you have a different list, feel free to leave it in the comments box. Ursa was one of several villains who lay trapped in the Phantom Zone when Krypton exploded. Like other criminals, he eventually escaped from his prison to wreak havoc on Superman's life. Interestingly, Ursa first appeared in the 1978 film, Superman, the movie. It wasn't until after Infinite Crisis that he made his debut in the comics. Normally, Ursa works under the orders of General Zod to eliminate Superman. Ursa has displayed many of the same powers as Superman and Zod. Due to her short stay on Earth, Ursa was unable to master her powers instantly, plus her cells were not charged with as much solar energy as Superman's. While his strength does not appear to be at Kal-El levels, his ruthlessness and military training have made up for any shortcomings in his physical strength. Ursa is a fierce warrior, which has made her one of the most dangerous women in the entire DC universe. 9. Like his father, Jor-El was an exceptional scientist who managed to foreshadow the destruction of Krypton, but because his society had become arrogant, they ignored Jor-El's warnings. Determined that their son would survive the destruction of Krypton, Jor-El and his wife Lara agreed to send baby Kal-El to the planet Earth where, thanks to the yellow sun of that solar system, he would become the most powerful being in that world. For years, it was believed that Jor-El had died along with his planet, but in the Rebirth era it was revealed that he was saved by Dr. Manhattan, who teleported him to Earth. Unfortunately, he was injured during the transfer and was forced to live underground for several years. Deprived of yellow sunlight, Jor-El's body was deformed and his Kryptonian cells failed to absorb enough energy, making him not as powerful as Kara or his own son. Being able to escape and obtain his powers, Superman's father began a complicated plan to try to protect the Man of Steel from Dr. Manhattan. In his search, Jor-El traveled the multiverse and expanded his knowledge. As Mr. Oz, the Kryptonian managed to capture Doomsday, Mr. Mxyzptlk, 3 different versions of Tim Drake and other cosmic entities. In the end, Jor-El was captured and convicted for his crimes. This was sent back to the planet Krypton at the exact moment of its explosion. Jon Kent is a relatively new character within DC continuity. Being the son of Clark and Lois, he possesses all of his father's powers, and in his childhood, it was revealed that, thanks to his human cells, he had the ability to become even more powerful than Superman himself. He teamed up with Damian Wayne and together they formed the Super Sons. After going on an expedition to the multiverse with his grandfather, Jon was captured and imprisoned by Ultraman. For years he was tortured until he managed to escape and return to his universe of origin as a teenager. Jon carried the mantle of Superboy for a time and is currently DC Comics' second active Superman. In Dark Crisis he faced powerful villains such as Cyborg Superman, Doomsday and Darkseid, where he managed to battle these powerful beings. In more recent stories, Jon gained the ability to access the electrical powers that Superman had at the turn of the century. Thanks to these abilities, he was able to take down Ultraman with a single blow. Karen Starr is the alter ego of Kara Zor-El from Earth 2. Karen is Kal-El's niece and was raised by her cousin and his wife Lois when she arrived on Earth. He was a member of All-Star Squadron and the JSA and later became part of the main DC universe. Over the years, the publisher has repeatedly changed its origin, but at its core, it remains an adult version of Supergirl. Kara Zor-El's power level is greater than most humans, but she is still weaker than Superman. However, since she has almost the same potential as Supergirl, she could become stronger than Clark in the future. Thanks to her time with the JSA, Karen has been trained in combat by some of the best fighters in history, and has proven to be an extremely intelligent woman. In addition to the conventional powers of a Kryptonian, he recently gained telepathic abilities thanks to the Lazarus volcano, which is a great addition for this character. During the last days of Krypton, Jor-El created several prototype ships to save his son. One of those ships contained Hel, a Kryptonian who would preserve the culture and history of his world. For 27 years, this being traveled through the universe and was exposed to various types of energy, which his body learned to assimilate and gave him other powers. Along with all the typical abilities of a Kryptonian, Hel had the ability to alter his size, telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, was able to create force fields, was able to see the recent past of his opponents, plus he could traveling through time, but doing this cost him too much energy. In later stories it is revealed that Hel was actually a clone created from the cells of several Kryptonians, so he was immune to kryptonite in addition to being extremely intelligent. Hel attempted to prevent the destruction of Krypton, but was ultimately stopped by Superman, Superboy, Supergirl, and Jor-El himself. He was trapped in a time loop which prevented him from accessing the DC universe again. General Zod is one of the deadliest Kryptonian enemies the Man of Steel has ever faced. In fact, he competes alongside Darkseid and Doomsday for the title of Superman's most powerful enemy. Like his lover Ursa, General Zod was a prisoner of the Phantom Zone. His crime was trying to usurp control of Krypton. He knew and despised Jor-El, and his hatred of Kal-El's father led him to attempt to eliminate Superman and everything he loved. Zod is perhaps the Kryptonian whose power levels are closest to those of Superman. This was considered the best soldier in the history of Krypton. His combat skill and extensive battle experience have allowed him to prove that he is a threat to Superman and almost all of Earth's heroes. He is not a destroyer or an irrational being. Zod is a full-fledged conqueror, and even before gaining his powers, he had already enslaved entire races and destroyed planets in the name of Krypton. Zod is one of those villains who really should be much more powerful than the hero they usually face. However, Superman has defeated him on too many occasions to put him on a higher rung in this top. Supergirl is Superman's cousin, and as such, she possesses all of the Man of Steel's powers. As with Powergirl, DC has altered Kara's origins repeatedly. In the pre-Flashpoint universe we were told that the ship in which Kara traveled to Earth had solar panels which began charging its cells before Kal-El arrived on Earth. After arriving in Gotham, Batman theorized that Kara could be even faster and stronger than Superman, but, as happened with almost all the positions in this top, DC decided to retract this to leave Superman as the strongest hero on Earth. This same incarnation of Supergirl was trained by the Amazons in combat, being considered an exceptional warrior that Darkseid himself tried to recruit her for his army. In her new 52 incarnation, Wonder Woman admitted that, at 16, Kara had the same strength as her and could become even stronger as she grew older. A long time ago, scientists on the planet Krypton designed a creature to be the ultimate weapon. This creature, the Ultimate, had no purpose other than destruction and tore through other planets before finally being defeated. Buried on the primitive planet Earth, he awoke after many centuries and unleashed death, earning the name Doomsday. The monster was eventually stopped by Superman, who apparently lost his own life in the process. Driven by the instinct to hunt the inhabitants of his own homeworld, Doomsday has resurfaced time and time again to threaten Superman and his adopted planet, no matter what stands in his way. Doomsday doesn't have heat vision, ice breath, or flight, but his strength and durability are off the charts. It has never really been established whether he is stronger than Superman, but he at least possesses strength equal to that of the Man of Steel. On top of that, Doomsday possesses toxikinesis, an ability that allows him to release pheromones that eliminate the life of almost any being he comes into contact with. But without a doubt his most surprising ability is his apparent immortality, since he has evolved to the point that he can return from death, and when he does, he returns stronger and having suppressed that weakness for which he died. Not even Darkseid himself has managed to emerge unscathed from a fight with this powerful being. Superman's true strength comes from the duality of his heritage. For one thing, Kal-El is a Kryptonian under a yellow sun, giving Superman nearly limitless powers and abilities. On the other hand, Clark has the advantage of having been raised by parents who instilled in him courage, decency, honesty and determination. Superman's powers consist of super strength, invulnerability, flight, heat vision, ice breath, various super senses, and some extra powers that have changed over the years. The current version of Superman is weaker than the Silver Age version, but he is still considered one of the most powerful heroes on Earth. Even in other universes or realities, the last son of Krypton has faced beings like Hulk, Thor, He-Man, the Power Rangers, Godzilla, Spider-Man, the Thundercats, Galactus, the Xenomorphs, the Terminators, the Yautja, without tell that he has defeated several of the Kryptonians that appear in this talk. We could really go on numbering Superman's exploits for much longer, but that would make this video longer than it should, so let's move on to the first place. Superboy Prime, also known as Superman Prime, is a Clark Kent from an alternate reality where superheroes only exist in comics. Superboy Prime survived the destruction of his reality and helped destroy the powerful Anti-Monitor. After this, he was trapped in a pocket dimension until he went crazy and helped Alexander Luthor in his attempt to remake the multiverse. Superboy Prime is a pre-crisis Kryptonian, so he has a power very similar to that of the Silver Age Superman. It can move planets with ease and fly light years away in a matter of seconds. Superboy Prime had to create a special armor to maintain his powers while trapped in the Speed Force and proved to be a powerful enemy that could only be defeated with cunning. Even though other Kryptonians can boast of their strength, none of them can match this Superman's power levels. Not only has he faced the Green Lantern Corps alone, but he defeated and eliminated several heroes of Earth at the same time, defeated Sodom Yacht, the legendary Green Lantern, defeated the Anti-Monitor in one blow, faced the Legion of Superheroes, killed the Superman of the Golden Age and even faced the Batman who laughs hand-to-hand when he possessed the powers of Dr. Manhattan, something that not even the Superman of Earth-Zero managed to do. Superboy Prime is not only extremely strong, but he is one of the fans' favorite villains, so we are sure to see him again in future stories. For now, that's all for this video. Tell us which are your favorite Kryptonians and why.